All right. So, some other fun thoughts. How to become uncancelable. Right? So, this is where it's good that I live in a metaphorical cave. It's like cancel culture. The baby was canceled. Everyone canceled. Travis Scott canceled. What is? So as a consequence, everybody is so scared. So you don't say what's really on your mind because you're afraid you're gonna get canceled, right? And it's like, okay, simple suggestions. One, don't trust nobody's on Instagram. I call Insta losers, right? Am I the only millennial I know who don't have Instagram or any social medias? 35, born in 88. To quote my best friend Justin, heavyweight since 1988. So good vibes. And actually, some thoughts too. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm the different one, but I'm actually the only one I know that I loved high school. I had so much fun with the homies. You know, did a bunch of shenanigans and stuff like that. I actually rate high school as one of the happiest times of my life. And I actually loved college too, going to UC as an undergrad, studying sociology, stuff like that. And then also meeting Cindy's. So it's like, what is the value of going to college? Meeting your future wife. Seems simple. That's don't do the, I'm like, so grateful that I was met Cindy before dating apps. And actually it's interesting because like I see like successful entrepreneurs, you know, people now in their people now in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, who's, you know, done been super rich, worth 100 billion, whatever. And like they still single, you know, they don't got no kids, no wife. It just seems a little bit sad. My thought on success, super simple. It's have at least one kid and happy family life. So anyways, we'll continue our thoughts. So how to become uncancelable, right? First and foremost, just have no social media, right? Don't delete delete Instagram. The best thing I ever did in 2017 was delete my Instagram, inspired by Kanye. All my good inspirations come from Ye. And actually, the reason why Kanye is such a great role model, he has the most courage. Ain't nobody have courage like him. And actually, even one could posit, you know, maybe it's better to have courage over intelligence. So I think Kanye is at least 1,000 times more courageous than Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z ultimately cares more about money, maybe even legacy, right? Whereas Kanye, he just says what's on his mind and inspires people like me. So then the question is, why does everyone hate Kanye? Honestly, I think people's just racist. He's like outspoken African-American man, envious of him, jealous of him. But yeah, until the thought of losing your spouse and your kids, super sad. So anyways, maybe it's wise to do the preemptive move. So no matter if you're a rapper, famous person, whatever, just delete Instagram. If you're The Rock, delete Instagram. If anything, if The Rock was smart, maybe, Rock management team, you want me to build your website? Eric@erickim.com. I'll hook it up. So essentially the thing should be to, I think more like celebrities, famous people, just make your own website and blog. It's like super simple. Like the heuristic, super simple. Just post to anything to your own blog that you would otherwise do with post anything to your own blog that you would otherwise do with social media, right? So don't upload to, TikTok or YouTubies or Instagram or whatever's, right? Just upload to your own site. And actually the probably the most simple thing you could do, especially if you use like a celebrity or a famous person, you don't know how to manage websites or nothing, right? Just start a WordPress.com blog. So if you use more intelligent, like EK, you want to think more long term, WordPress.org is better. I use Ionos.com, you use Bluehost.com, whatevs. So like my website has existed over a decade. What was it? I made it in 2009, 2010. Yeah, actually, it's pretty impressive. My website has been around for like 13 years. So the good thing is, if you use Nassim Taleb's Lindy effect, Eric Kim finna be around for at least another 13 years. So good thoughts. And then Sen is gonna be 16 at the time. So yeah, essentially when Sen is 16, I want him to be proud of his dad. So yeah, the thing with WordPress.com, just pay for the premium one. Like, it's just so simple. Like, bro, if you could afford Spotify, Netflix, whatevs, like you could afford WordPress.com premium was like $10 a month. Oh, come on, don't be a cheapo, and also get ChatGPT's pros. Actually, the secret thought is 99.99% of the annoyances of websites is maintenance. And also having a credit card on it that's, gonna outlast you. So a simple suggestion is even just having a simple WordPress.com, like, something.wordpress.com is good because in theory it should outlast you. So even I have a new website like erickimthoughts.wordpress.com. And the good thing is that because it's managed by WordPress, the updates automatically update itself. So I kind of do believe in this hybrid Centaur approach where you have your own self-hosted websites and you also have an external hosted. So maybe the best approach is actually have a combination of both WordPress.com and your own self-hosted thing. It's double there, because what's the facts is sooner or later your website's gonna die and all your information gonna be gone with it. Even ChatGPT is interesting because it has essentially downloaded the whole internet, and now it uses Bing to research information which is more recent, and it will actually hyperlink back to your own website. And so this is where the future of blogging is very good, because the only way that ChatGPT's, and I also rate ChatGPT as at least 1,000 times better than Google's. I think Google's in big trouble. Yeah, ChatGPT gonna take over. I rate ChatGPT as at least 1,000, 10,000 times better than Google. Now, I try my best to not use Google like the plague, because I know sooner or later I'm gonna go down some weird rabbit holes and distract myself. It's like Tim Wu, I think that's the guy name. He wrote a book titled Weapons of Mass Distraction, and I think it's a cogent thought, because a lot of this thinking is weapons of mass distraction, because ultimately, let's not forget that Google is not a search company, it's not a whatevs, it's an advertising company. 99.9% of the profits from Google's is made through display and search advertising. So the low-key goal of Google is, let us try to help people find relevant information, but let us also insert some advertisements on the way. And now with Google News, this thing is out of control. It's everyone's saying BuzzFeed and people in clickbait. I'm like, the real culprit here is actually Google AdSense, because just think about it, anything that's written anti-Semitic or Hamas and Palestine or whatevs, right? It's gonna get more clicks, it's gonna get more views, it's gonna get more impressions, and who profits? Google, because they run AdSense, which is 95% of display advertising on the internet. And even the reason why I like the idea of ChatGPT over Google, Google, if you don't want to die, right? Just do super simple, right? Just have somebody pay $10, $20 a month to use Google without ads. Super effing simple. Just make it an option. You don't have to. the people who don't want to pay for it, not finna do it. But, tech elites like Kim, we're gonna use it because we don't want no hidden catches, right? Oh wow, look at this beautiful morning. Beautiful morning. Yeah, Culver's lit. If you wanna be happy, just move to Culver City. I recommend the Arts District. Well, it looks like a new translation the Iliad's at. Emily Wilson. Actually, I love reading new translations. It's a better thing. And actually, I need to read the LeBron James book. Michael Lewis. Yeah, pretty cool. So some more spiritual thoughts. Yeah, so the easiest thing to do if you want direct contact with your fans is just have an email newsletter. If you want to keep it simple, MailChimp.com. I do a more complicated solution, which is self-hosted through Sendy.co. And you just use Amazon Web Services, and it's like at least 10,000 times cheaper. But once again, like, it just depends on like, I don't know how much money you've got. But then the critical thing I actually learned about innovation is actually not about spending more money. It's actually spending less money. So the best way to live life is actually through cost cutting. And it's silly because people are, they want to be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk and be billionaires so they could buy $1 billion worth of stupid shit, right? But the real way to innovate is cost cutting. It's actually super simple. Like, you think about Amazon, it's only successful because they done made everything cheaper and faster. And certain market trends, I mean, Jeff Bezos is probably one of the most underrated geniuses of all time. Invent and wander to it, right? Ain't nobody gonna be like, hey Jeff, I want my packages to come to me slower, and I want it to cost more money, and no one's gonna be like, yo, I want less selection, and no one's gonna be like, I want it to show up to my house slower, right? Yeah, even Elon Musk is so smart, right? Like, the great innovations that Tesla did is and building stuff, it's like, how can you make, like, Cybertruck is lit, right? So Cybertruck is like, how can you make it simpler, more streamlined, more radically innovative? Like, the whole stainless steel like, that is super effing genius, because, like, let's just consider catching some nice light. Actually, to quote my friend Renzi Ruiz, follow the light. I think I'm like a plant. I need the light. So maybe the next time I'll take my mic too. Oh yeah, Cybertruck, right? Yeah, stainless steel. So like, you don't need paint, you don't need it, right? Like, and yeah, like, and also my personal thought is anyone who's critical of Elon Musk, I'm like, I don't trust nobody who's critical of him, because obviously everyone has bad things. But my thought about genius is, if you want to become more genius, you got to become like a worser, more unethical bad person. It's like Nietzsche says, right? To increase goodness, you also have to increase badness. So anybody who skirts this line of notion, I think is a little bit foolish. So the most evil person must also be the most good person. The most good person must also be the most evil person. Actually, it's funny too, right? Like with like Hitler, right? You're like Adolf Hitler. Essentially, it's like akin to saying the devil. But it's funny too, because other people like Joseph Stalin, Mussolini, they're not like everyone knows they're bad, but they're not like given the same veritas as the Hitlers. Like even Kanye said in the InfoWars interview, it's like, you're not allowed to say Hitler did anything good, right? And even like, it's like, and this is where I'm kind of anti-dog ownership. It's like, dude, bro, do you know that Hitler showed more love and affection to his dog than he did other human beings? So, I don't know, but who knows? Maybe like 10,000 years in the future, they'll look at like Hitler kind of like a Genghis Khan. Right? Can you imagine if Genghis Khan was alive today, or even 100 years ago, all the atrocities we would mention? But now people are, oh yeah, Genghis Khan, you know, cool, get some Mongolian barbecue or something. Everything becomes comedic after a while. Even like Alexander the Great, I'm sure he did very unsavory things, but alas, everyone wants to claim some heritages now, right? And even like, to quote Publius Cyrus, the greatest good amongst mortals is to seek immortal fame amongst mortals. So yeah, to have a legacy that outlasts you is a good idea. So, I mean, like, I'm pretty happy. I think my legacy is pretty solidified already. ChatGPT does a good job of indexing all of Kim. I'm just happy that I'm continuing to evolve. But yeah, so use the email newsletters to have direct contact with your followers or your fans. And also, like, one thing I found too is like, it's better to have like one super hardcore follower of yours than to have thousands or millions or tens of millions or whatever, or hundreds of millions of just like slightly interested followers. And even a thought that I learned from Elon Musk, interesting, is like the best way to do things is to sell direct. So for example, it's easier to charge $1,000 or $10,000 for your workshop for one person who's rich and successful than to like have a workshop with, you know, thousands of people all paying $1. So the trend I see with monies and economics is definitely, it's going to be a trend towards kind of more this elitism. I mean, let's just do the facts, right? Lamborghini Uruses are selling more like candy in LA than Honda Civics. And so the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer, and the economic divide is, you know, it's based on wealth accumulation and inheritances, right? Like, think about it this way. Let's say your dad is worth 500M and, you know, you're born with a trust fund. Assuming that your dad is not stupid, even if he just had all the monies in simple, like, you know, mutual funds or whatever, right? You could live on the dividends for the rest of your life and like never worry about none, right? Whereas you grow up to a family where, you know, your mom's working at a sushi restaurant, like, you know, 80 hours a week. You know, dad gambles away the rent money, right? It's gonna be obvious that one party will have more stability than the others. But also it's funny too, because like I always think to myself, it's like, would Jay-Z have become Jay-Z if he grew up in a nice middle class family in Irvine? Probably not. So essentially the gist of what to be uncancelable is own yourself, own your own platform. Even the thing I'm a little bit sus of WordPress.com, I'm sure sooner or later you really speak your mind, they're gonna see that you're saying something that's, you know, bad, and then delete your website or censor you. So yeah, self-owned is the future.